fun. Oh, where are you cranking it to now?
72.
How about crank it to you were at 208, you said?
Yeah.
I want to push you just a little bit. Let's try 215.
That's as fast as it goes.
Oh, it goes. Oh, the metronome only goes to 208. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, that metronome can only go to 208.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or it just plays 440.
Look.
Yeah. Okay. Got it, because it goes around the circle like that.
208's the highest.
What are you doing, Zane?
That hurts.
What hurts?
Next time.
I think this time never do that. No, I just banged my thumb and it hurts, so I'm gonna do this.
Ready?
I thought 208 was the fastest you could go, but that's very clearly not the case. That's just a metronome.
Yeah, that is.
Cool. All right. You want to hear something neat?
What?
You're over halfway to my top speed.
Wait, what?
You're over halfway to my top speed.
Your top speed is.
About 210 usually is where I round out at.
I thought you could go like.
But I'm doing
400.
16th notes. Not 8. Right now you're doing 8th notes.
Yeah, 220.
So if we go back down to 210. A lot faster, huh? So what I want to do to make it easier on the metronome, especially if you're using this guy and this guy only goes from 200 to 8 anyway, here's what we're going to do.
It's old.
We're going to go down. So we were at 225, so that's probably about 230. So let's look at 120. It's a little bit faster than you were just going. Okay? But now we're going to do 16ths. Yeah. There you go. How's that feel?
Pretty good.
Feels good? Okay, let's try here.
Your top speed for 8 notes is like 400, so.
Oh yeah, it would be over 400. It would be like 420.
What about 430?
I probably could on a good day. Stretch it.
What if on the best day ever you could do 500?
Oh goodness. Okay, so when you work on your doubles now, okay, particularly when you start going fast, I want you to use 16ths like this, okay? Because then it's within your metronome range. We don't have to go all the way up to the 300s, into the 400s or whatever. It's a little bit, you can keep smaller numbers, but you're just doing 16ths instead, okay? So it's not like we got slower, we're still going forward, we're still getting better, you're still going faster. We just cut the time in half so that you can squeeze in 16ths instead of 8th notes, okay? All right. Cool, that's sounding good.
16th.
How about, let's go ahead and take this guy off. Can you play me 3-5-4, 5-4-3? Right here. Okay, so mix and match a little bit. How about do it again, but now mix and match a different way. Do it a different way. What helps?
I can't do 500.
Zane, listen. Stop arguing.
What helps is if you can hear the melody of it in your head. Bum 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 bum. Then however you orchestrate it, It's the same. The melody is just different. Right? I'm still hearing da 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 da. I'm just moving them around in different places.
That's what I do.
Just like that. You want to try that again? Make something else up. Yep. That one was neat because it was like you did it one way, and you used the same drums, and it was like you did it backwards the second time. So you used the same drums for each hit. Your 4 was over here, your 3 was here, and your 5 was here.
Yeah.
But by changing the order, it sounded like you went forward and then backward. Kind of neat, huh?
Basically, I did.
Yep. All right. How about one more? Then we're gonna do some jazz time.
Okay.
Why do you think I have you still working on those, even though you've got them pretty fast?
Because if you want me to do.
True.
Be able to do super fast and be able to make them sound like I'm doing.
Hold your sticks properly.
What are you doing there?
It's gonna make them sound like I'm doing.
So yeah, the big thing is that you can keep going faster and faster the more that you do it. But I want you to have a command of it. I still don't. Right now, I feel like your brain still has to work in order to throw them out. It's still not automatic for you yet, the way that a lot of other things that you've been doing forever are automatic. I had you play jazz time and tell me a story, for example. You know,
I can still do that.
I'm sure you can.
I can
but-
do a song.
Your 3-5-4 isn't as automatic, right? So for your 3-5-4, I just want you to practice it again and again and again because we can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. If we were playing a jazz waltz, have you ever heard the word waltz before?
I read it.
You've read it before?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
It's kind of like a dance.
Uh-huh. It is a dance, but it's a very particular kind of dance. Do you know what time signature it is? It's always the same.
4/4, 6/4.
Close. It's 3-4.
Oh, close.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's always in 3/4. And so, every once in a while, they have these jazz waltzes, and they sound kind of like this. Everybody come. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So. Yep. Yeah, it's different to get used to, huh? So, here's the deal. If we take 3-5-4 and we want to put it, because right now that fits in 4, right? In 4/4 time, because it's 12 counts, which is 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. If we wanted to do it in 3/4, which one would we take out? The 5, the 4, or the 3? And it would still work. We could remove one.
The 3? I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yikes, I got it.
Yep. So you just do 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, and you leave out the 3, and you stay in 3/4 time. Kind of cool. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Stay in 3 the whole time. Let's see, as we start going with other stuff, we can also flatten it out and we can hear those as 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. You can have all these kinds of things, and then it goes over the bar line, and you can do 16th note patterns with it. So the more that you know it and you don't have to think about it, then the more things that you can use it in. Okay? And then you don't have to practice and learn new stuff necessarily. You're using the same tools, but for a lot of different situations, and it's helpful. Okay?
I need to learn new stuff. So
Oh, of course. We're still gonna learn new stuff, but especially in sight reading situations. Someone puts music in front of you, you got to do everything you can to make sure that the music is as good as possible. You don't always have time to think about what the coolest fill would be. So you just use a couple fills that you know will work, and then you keep going. Okay? So when I start putting full jazz charts in front of you, and we start sight reading those, that's what you're going to be using. It's going to be a lot of dooba dooba. It's going to be a lot of rough bark, and it's going to be a lot of 3/5/4. But it'll be really cool because I can put pretty much any chart in front of you, and with those 3 things, you'll get through it. Okie doke? All right. So I want to hear jazz time. And then I want you to try to comp in a creative way, okay? So what kinds of things are we using when we're comping in a creative way?
Well,
List some things off for me.
we're using our comps.
Mm-hmm.
We're mixing our comps.
Good.
We're also maybe kind of mixing jazz time with a jazz waltz, maybe?
Don't change the time signature. So we won't do a jazz waltz because that goes into 3. So we don't need to change the time signature. But you were onto something, though, using just jazz time. What do we call that? Using rhymes with face.
Pace.
Space. Open space. Okay? So sometimes you don't want to comp. Right? Sometimes it's nice just to have no comp. But just for a little bit. Okay? So using space as well. There's one more that we've learned that you can throw in there.
3/5/4 into Luba.
Yeah.
Well,
So 3/5/4 is a full like fill situation. You can do it on the ride cymbal. Remember we've talked about that before?
That's not a bark, that's a grasp.
So
Okay.
let's avoid those because that's jarring for your horn section. Your horn section will lose track of time if you do something like that. Okay. So you don't want to. Al calls it
Zane.
dusting your band. You don't want to dust your band. Okay. Go ahead. So nothing too crazy.
Okay.
There you go. Some space after that was nice. That was some of the nicer comping I've heard so far. Tell you what, let's stop and talk about that. So why do you think I liked that you just finished doing more than any of the other stuff that you were doing?
Because I was going.
So your volume,
I was staying in time.
you stayed in time.
And
Your volume, right? Because you were keeping really low and it was really nice.
my position on the snare, instead of going like this,
Well, that has to do with your volume, but yes, you're right.
I went like.
So the other thing is that most of the time when you're comping like this, are you the main voice or the support voice?
The support one.
That means that usually somebody else has the melody or somebody else is soloing. So if you're going all over the place, it's like, can they hear their solo? Not really, right? So sometimes having a light, easy comp. Right? That kind of a thing, you staying out of the way. You're letting the melody be big so that everybody can hear it and they can sing along.
So
And
like the guitarist is doing a melody. You don't want to go like, say if you're playing like
Zane.
in jazz band, and then you have a guitar, so
you know what they call that? There's a word for that. They call those hits. Okay?
Like hits and misses?
Well, they're hits.
Kinda.
So the band is playing some da 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 do da 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 do da 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 do da bop 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 bop. You would grab those bop 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 because those are big. The whole band is hitting them together. It makes it really big and a lot of energy, and it's really exciting.
Kind of like this.
Then you come back down. It was just that. Do da 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 do da 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 do da da do da 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 da. Come back down. Okay. And a lot of what reading is, most of what they put in your music are hits. The things that they want you to grab.
Like,
Well, how about something more concrete? You've listened to Linus and Lucy, right?
yeah.
Ba-da-da-da. Those are hits. The whole rest of the time you're just going da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, right? And then that goes on for a little bit, and then right? So those are hits. That's what the whole rest of the band, because the whole band is hitting those. Okay? So those are the sections that gotta pop and they gotta hit hard. You gotta get some muscle in there. But otherwise, it's nicer to kind of lean back a little bit. So I liked that thing that you were doing where you go from unison to fill-ins. Right? So
I'm not very good at it.
yes.
I'm trying.
That's what I was going to say. So they're a little bit sloppy right now. So because you know that they're sloppy, what does that mean?
And
You can what?
fix them,
you can fix
get
it.
them, and make them better.
Yeah, you can practice them and make them sound nice.
Because all I'm doing is I'm just trying to comp and make cool stuff.
Mhm.
But I can do things. I just have to clean them up.
Yeah. So if you know that it needs fixing, then you can fix it, right? It's better than stuff that you don't know is bad. So you can fix those, but when you work on them right now, what happens is your shoulder locks up a little bit and you get tight. And then when you get tight like that, then your volume comes up. So then your volume is too loud, your shoulder's too tight, and you're not totally playing in time. You're losing your jazz time over there on the ride. So it just makes a whole bunch of problems that all come together. But if you practice it and get really good at it, then none of those problems happen. Okay? So just spend some time going slow. Right? You can practice that on your own. We don't have to necessarily do it in here. But if that's something that you like doing, then that's a good thing to practice. Right? Cool. Let me take a look at our chart here. I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't
the
really
other thing.
practice any of the days because it was mostly me and Mom, and I don't really get to have Mom's snuggle time, so
I see.
that. And
Got to schedule snuggle time.
yeah, and also
Mhm.
I had to do poop duty, and we got to watch a movie in the middle of the day, and I was really looking forward to doing my fire truck thing, and
Man, I forgot how rough it is to be a kid.
Mhm.
All these responsibilities.
Kids should have a good life, just sitting back, relaxing, going to the work.
I think you've got a pretty good life, if you were to ask me.
Well,
There's lots of things you get to do that I don't know many that do.
I have too much work.
No, you don't.
No, I don't think so. I think that's why you're so dang smart.
I have too much work.
I don't know
Nope.
about that.
Okay, let's get back to what we're doing here,
Okay,
dude.
syncopation, reading, and then
Not
low
funny.
bass. All right. We got syncopation here. Do we have a music stand? We used to have one over here. Is it still-
Yeah, it's
It's in the gym.
Okay.
Let's go get
Sorry,
it.
no.
No, it's okay.
I just use his snare.
I can be a.
You're the music stand.
Yep.
I just use his snare.
Yeah, you can just use my snare. I have a bunch of stuff piled on there right now.
Okay. So, let's pick.
2 lines.
Today I want to do a little bit more. Okay. How about? Let's do 4. Pick 4 lines.
What?
Tell you what, you don't have to pick them all right now because we might not remember them. So pick one first. Pick one. Top one. Okay. That's the easy answer. That's why I went for 4. All right. Top line. Ready? Good. Where was the mistake? Yep, right at the very beginning. Do it one more time. Good. Pick another line. Yeah. Bottom or second to the bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom?
10.
Okay. Good. All right. Pick another one. Two. Okay. Go ahead. A little bit right at the end. There's one other thing I want to tell you about. There was one other thing that was going wrong. Do you know what it was? You were shuffling over here. Ding, 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 ding. So be careful. Make sure you keep your jazz time. Okay. So let's try it one more time. I want you to think about your right hand again. Okay? Because you went back to shuffling. Okay, pick one more.
And I immediately picked number 9.
Number 9. Okay.
Wait, no. Oh, no.
5, 4, 3. Number 6. All right, go ahead.
See.
That's really good. Can we do this one more time?
Stop doing that.
That sounded good. Okay, so that's a really sharp sound. So every time you end that way, it's kind of like punching me in the ear. Okay, so we don't need to keep throwing those out there. Okay, they don't help anything. Okay,
I
so
tried my best.
yes,
It's not guaranteed.
yeah, and that's okay. So the thing about the reading, right? So were the rhythms correct by the end of it? Do you know? Do you feel that the rhythms were correct? What you were reading?
No, I feel like I was making quite a few mistakes.
Okay.
Because I should have just done this first, but I really wanted to do this.
And that's okay. So there were a couple mistakes, but I didn't let you go on until the reading was correct. So that means eventually you got it all right. So, but we now have a new underlying problem that you're going to have to pay attention to when you work on these, okay?
What?
And it's this guy over here. Because when it starts getting really complicated, instead of you start doing this.
My right hand is usually like this. Like,
I know all the stuff that you do.
It's trying to help my left hand, but that makes it go off time and it's trying to match my
It's
left.
actually a different reason than that. It's because your right hand wants to have consistency. So doing this is easy. But if I had you read something and you had to do this instead, it's going to be harder because it's not exactly the same every time. When you do a shuffle, it's easier to put on autopilot because it's exactly the same over and over again. Da, 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 da. Your jazz time, it doesn't do that. You have 1, then 2, a 3, 4, a 1. So you have space in between. It's not the same motion over and over and over again. It kind of is if you zoom out from a macro perspective. But so what I think needs to happen is you need to go back through the syncopation book, We can do a little bit of it in here, but I want to move on for today, okay? So we'll talk about it a little bit in next lesson at my house, okay? But I want you to go through this book, and I want you to go slow and make sure that your right hand stays on jazz time, okay? So because you've read it before, it shouldn't take too long. Not nearly as long as it did the first time, but I want to make sure that you continue to build that habit, okay? Because all of this is all coordination stuff, so that when I put you in a jazz band setting, I can put all kinds of stuff. I can throw it at you, and it doesn't mess up your jazz time. Your jazz time stays the same. Okie doke? But we got to make sure that you don't develop this idea that whenever you're comping and doing other stuff, you start moving into a shuffle. Okay? It's a little bit different. So you'll do fine in country, but jazz, they want other stuff.
I bet I would do
Zane?
rock or punk.
That seems to be what you like to play, and yeah, you're going to do better at the music that you like to play and the music that you listen to.
Yes, because I like
So whatever you listen to the most, yeah.
I like
same.
loud and fast, so that's basically punk
Me
rock.
too, bud. Me too.
If it were up to me,
Okay,
all
Bob.
day I'll just
Hey.
go punk, 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 punk.
Yep. Did I turn the page?
Yes,
I did.
you did.
Okay. How about? Let's see, I have
Sit, dude.
I got an exercise for you. Okay. We're going to start to do some double bass stuff. Okay. I want to get used to doing double bass with different hand patterns. Okay.
Got it.
So first, we're going to do just standard double bass. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, left. So that's halftime. 1 and a 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. Switch it to halftime. So keep the same tempo. Do you know what that sounds like, or do you need me to demonstrate it for you?
Demonstrate.
Okay. Scooch.
No, you can.
I gotta have the pedals.
Yeah.
Zane.
It's almost like that chair's too tall for you.
Yeah, like it's set up for Dad, not for Zane.
I like the backrest.
You're not even using the backrest. I'm not even using the backrest. So. It's a little bit of a tough squeeze. What if we did that? Okay. So. Jumping back and forth between those, we're going to add one more afterwards, okay? And we're going to add downbeats. Okay?
Makes me want to dance.
Holy cow, it's gonna be fun.
I rarely ever get students that, like, oh, they're super into metal? Okay, great, let's do it.
I love metal. Oh, metal. I can use that to build a car.
All right, so first let's hear double and half. So I mean, yeah.
And that's the
Pretty much
most I
always.
have.
Because in the same way, how do you think, what muscle do you think needs to get under control in order to get speed? Can you point to it on your leg? What muscle? Your calf? Good guess. But not it. Think of your arms. So when you gotta go really, really fast,
Tricep.
when you gotta go really, really fast with your drumsticks, what do you use? Do you use your shoulder?
No, I
No.
use my fingers.
Fingers, right?
Toe.
So it's the right idea, but we're not that good with our toes, right? So it's the next one up. Your ankle. Mm-hmm.
I can go
Kind of like your wrist.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can go speed.
The only thing is it's a lot easier to control your wrist in small motions than it is your ankle. So it just means a ton of practice. You just do it a lot, okay? More than I do, because I don't really get paid very often to play this stuff, so I tend to not practice it as much as like jazz and country. So that's why we're going to try to make it fun for you, and we're going to try to introduce all these different snare types, okay? So you have snare on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have halftime. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. 1, 2, ready, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, so switching back and forth like that, it works your legs the whole time. You try to keep in time. You can set a metronome to it. Okay. Then the other ones that you can add is that you can add all downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can go speed on my legs. Look.
So, how do you feel that? How are you counting that?
1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Okay, so you're counting it as 16th notes. That works too.
Yeah.
Cool. That allows you to use slower metronome time. It just usually means that when you go into fills, then you're having to think like 30-second notes and.
Like this.
So, practice those because it's going to be good for your legs, particularly your ankles. Okay, because you gotta get control of those. Otherwise, you're going to hit a wall and you'll never get faster. I say never, but eventually you just break through the wall like anything else. Okay, but you run into these plateaus. Okay,
And
so
then I have to climb on.
Mm-hmm.
Use it. I just have to hold myself on because there's no ladder. I just have to do this.
So you'll
Zane.
hit these little
Zane.
spots where you can't seem to go any faster, and you just have to keep working on your ankles until eventually you break through that, and you can go even higher and even faster. Okay. So, have we talked about the 2 major metal fills?
What?
The 2 major metal fills, quads and sixes. No. Quad is bop bop boom boom. Try that.
It's on the ground. You already told me that.
Cool. Then what about sixes? Do you know sixes? So think of 1 triplet, 2 triplet, or 1 triplet and triplet, but you're gonna go da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 4 on your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we're still talking about. Let me think. Switch with me.
Wait, I think I got it.
That's okay. Switch with me. It's a lot better if you can hear it.
I saw it back here for the second.
I guess you don't need to watch, but. Are you hearing any triplets?
I'm just thinking as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, that works too. But those are still triplet notes. So you should still be hearing them as triplets. So. So it's the same thing as your quads, though. Just practice.
You told me to go around the world. Just go.
Yep. So those are the two big ones. When you start doing big metal fills, it's just 4s and 6s. So you get good at those. You can use those in pretty much any metal setting. In fact, I'll use them in rock settings too.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to use a skate instead of a double pedal, and then you can use it anywhere.
I can play this.
So that was cool. Was it in time?
It stayed about it did go in a.
So the
I think
most
it's a
important
4
thing
base.
when you work on all this stuff is you have to stay in time. It doesn't matter how cool your chops are. If you break time, your band is going to stop you, and they're going to go, no, don't do that. Okay? It's better to do easier stuff that stays in time than it is to do like fast, hard stuff that falls out of time. So who's your best friend?
Ash and Steven.
And then
What's he pointing at? What's he pointing at? There you go.
Your drumming best friend is your metronome, okay? So keep your metronome on, even when you're just playing beats. It's good stuff to use, okay? When I did a lot of my metal stuff, I had a metronome on. Deep, 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 deep. I have the metronome going the whole time because then I can keep track of it. And then when you do these fills, I know that I'm on top of it. Okay? Some of the really hard fills I've used for your dad, I worked with him with a metronome like a million billion times, and then even then, sometimes I came in here and it still didn't work. Okay? So don't laugh at me.
I see you laughing. I see both of you laughing.
Yeah. So even that happens sometimes. If I wasn't using a metronome at all, there's no way I could use it in recording. No way. It was hard enough with using a metronome. Okay? So use the metronome. Even when you're just playing grooves. Okay? Use it a lot. If you have it on the entire time you're practicing, good.
That means I better get a purple day.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you did it that way.
Yeah, if you were practicing with a metronome all the time, you know how good your time would get? You'd be super tight.
I might even be tighter than you.
But someday. You definitely started earlier than me, so you get time to get there. But I'm going to keep pushing. I'm not going to let you catch me. You got to fight for it. All right. Let's do a little bit of double bass reading and then we'll call it a day, okay?
I have an idea. Well,
What, you don't want to? You don't want to do double bass reading? I'll just go home.
No, we can't. We will do double bass reading. But maybe before we go to Costco, if you could stay for maybe a minute or two, maybe we could play cars.